So, hey there, you have caught me on one of those days where I'm in the mood to rant. So, you guys know I do lots of courses for you. And so today I'm going to talk about some of the things I've seen that I don't think work. And you can avoid all of these. So, let's jump in.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here is your host, Julie Hood.
So are you ready for this episode? Aaron, hopefully you're strapped in. You know how you get those days where you're just like done with all the frustration? I'm having one of those days. And so today's episode is going to be all about the things that I have seen that I'm not excited about from course creators, and hopefully things that you can pretty easily avoid. So hopefully you'll enjoy this episode as much as I love ranting about it. Okay, so the first thing we came across was way too much coaching on one of the calls I was on and not enough teaching. And so it was just very frustrating because I went to this call to learn something, and instead it was very detailed and very specific to the individuals who were there. And so it wasn't a pleasant experience because I wasn't learning anything from what they were telling the people that they were talking about. So it's pretty easy to kind of cover that one. Make sure you always have some topics in the back of your mind that can be approached and help everyone. Or sometimes I will also do this thing where I will pull out, okay, so the lesson here for everyone that you can all apply, that you can all use, that's how you can take an individual session and turn it into something that applies to everyone who's on the call with you. So pull out those individual lessons and make them apply to everyone on the call. The second one, and this one has really been bugging me because it happened twice. The first was on a Zoom call where the presenter was scribbling on the whiteboard screen. So I guess maybe they had some kind of Apple Pencil or something and that they were scribbling on. And they had really terrible handwriting, so you couldn't read anything they were writing. They'd put like 2 letters and then a bunch of scribbles. And it got so frustrating. It was a decently long training, and I would say the content was decent, but I got so tired of not being able to read what they were writing. So if you've got terrible handwriting, don't do those whiteboards. Create a few PowerPoints. Doesn't take that long. Or go create the content and go have somebody create a PowerPoint for you where they can listen to what you're saying and then they can create the PowerPoint or something. Anyway, it was a really terrible experience. And then the second piece of this kind of related to that is another presenter was scribbling on a notebook, and then he would kind of hold it up on the Zoom call so you could sort of see what he was scribbling. And I was like, this would be so much better if you would have a presentation to show me what it is you're scribbling on your notebook. So I don't know, maybe that was a tactic they were doing to try to be casual or interactive or something, but I didn't like it. And I'm curious, if y'all want to message me or let me know, like, do you like that very informal scribbling kind of teaching or not? Okay, so then the third one, I was in a 5-day challenge. Don't even remember what it was about. I like to sign up for these because I think you can get a lot done in a few days. But the person had 90-minute videos again. And I'm like, goodness, y'all. Please remember when people sign up for 5-day challenges, they are squeezing this in usually around their normal schedule. So they have a full day. They are trying to apply what you're talking about. And unless you've got it set aside to have 2 hours a day for this challenge, they're not going to get through your 90-minute videos. So when I did my challenge, for those of you who were in it, you remember I'd have this 15-minute section where I said, hey, if you only have 15 minutes today, that's great. Here's what I want you to go do. Turn off this video, go do it. And I think that makes so much better sense when you're doing a challenge to have that option. Yeah, you can have a full 90 minutes if you want to, but address those folks who are just trying to connect with you in a short amount of time. They're trying to work you into their day and give them something really good and juicy that they can work with. Okay. Then I also signed up for a membership, and I thought the content was going to be really good. The instructor supposedly had tons and tons of experience in this area. It was to help with getting leads, and there was nothing from him as far as a follow-up. And it was a membership, so I was like, okay, every month I'm supposed to be getting something, I think. I think there were supposed to be monthly calls, or there were supposed to be monthly training or something, and I didn't get emails. I didn't hear back. So it's very kind of disconcerting. So make sure, you are following up at least a little bit when people sign up for your products. They need to get an initial email and then maybe a follow-up or two, but make sure you're doing some kind of follow-up once people sign up. I don't even think I got a welcome email from this one. That's why I was kind of baffled about, gosh, what exactly did I sign up for, and where's the content? All of those kinds of questions. So sometimes I know it's accidental, and I've had this happen too, where the tech isn't working right, or I've had times where I forgot to activate the emails. So I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because it totally happens to all of us. But just make sure you kind of test those things, or even have them at all. Like what I think happened on this membership is they didn't even exist. It wasn't so much that they weren't turned on, but I don't think they even existed. So do some testing, make sure you've got that welcome email and maybe a second one or two. Okay. And then number 5 was hiding prices with an application. Oh my gosh. This one sends me over the edge. I was super interested in somebody's training program, and they wanted people to apply. And I'm good with that. Totally understand. I do the same thing. I have an application for my VIP days and my coaching sessions, that the certain kind of profit coaching sessions that I do, because I want to make sure it's going to be a good fit for both of us. So I need some information before I can do that. So I totally understand why you would want to use an application. However, in this particular instance, the person who was asking for the application gave no idea at all what the price point was. So it might have been $500, it might have been $5,000, it might have been $25,000. I had no idea. And their application was going to take a decent amount of time to fill out. It was kind of nosy, and they wanted a lot of details. And so all I wanted to know was, is this a $500 program or is this a $5,000 program? Give me some range here, because if it's not within my budget for right now, I'm not going to waste my time filling out your application. So I sent an email and said, hey, I just want to know, what's the pricing on this? And they wouldn't tell me. Can you believe that? I was an interested prospect who would not tell me what the price was. I'm like, yeah, I'm out of there. We are not going to be able to work together, because you are putting your own systems and processes ahead of just giving out the price, for heaven's sakes. So I told you I was going to be ranting today. I am not a big fan of hiding prices. If your price range could change, I know that happens. I have some things like that too, where the price point isn't always exact. Then you need to say things like pricing ranges from $500 to $5,000, or the prices start at blank. But give your prospects who are like me, who just I maybe buy a little bit different than some people. I can tell pretty quickly if I'm interested, and my very next question is, what's the price? And when you hide the price, it creates that friction for me that turns me off and makes me click away. So I'm not sure if that's unique to me or if there's a lot of people who buy that way, but the whole hiding prices thing just really gets on my nerves. So if you're thinking about that, make sure you have a reason for it and you can explain why you're doing it that way. And maybe just recognize there's going to be some people who you might turn off, who might click away if you don't give out some kind of price range. Okay, the next one was what I call a bait and switch upsell, which I will tell you turned into not getting a sale at all. So the button where I was on to buy, and I don't even remember what it was something I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. It said it was $37. Like, okay, that's kind of in what I call my plunk down factor, where I will not think about it too long. I'll just plunk down the credit card, because if it's something I think could be helpful, $37, I don't need to spend a lot of time deciding. So then I clicked on it and I went over to the cart, and suddenly it was at $87. And I'm like, what? Is this just an error? Somebody updated their cart and it's, kind of messed up. And then I looked a little bit closer and they had added on a $50 upsell automatically. They hadn't asked me if I wanted it or told me what it was. It was just listed on the order form and the total was $87. And so it left a really super sour taste in my mouth. And I'm like, yeah, not buying from you, because that feels kind of bait and switchy sales process. Makes me wonder where else you're going to pull something like that. So I didn't buy. So don't do those. Okay, the next one is I went to a website and they had a big thing that said, the headline, sign up for my newsletter. And that used to work, back in the day. People were excited to get email and excited to get signed up for things, but not anymore. People are at that place where they don't really want more newsletters. They do want to hear from you, but the concept of getting a newsletter isn't a good enough incentive. So just change up those headlines and talk about what the free thing is that you're going to give them. Tell them you'll be messaging them once a week with more really good ideas and training and resources, and just don't use the newsletter word, because I don't think it's persuasive enough. And then the last one I will tell you about, I came across this was actually a product, and I wanted to see an example of, it was templates, I believe. And I wanted to see what kind of templates are they talking about? How does it work? Just an example, so I knew kind of where I was headed into or what I was looking at. And I couldn't find anything that was an example. And it was a decently expensive product. This wasn't a $37 product. It was several $100s. And I'm like, yeah, no, not going to buy if I have no idea what the thing is that you're actually selling me. And it may have been really good. I don't know. So I did sign up for the newsletter. I thought maybe they'll show an example in one of their emails where I can get a better feeling for what this is and what I'm actually signing up for or paying for. But I didn't buy, and I was pretty interested at the moment. So, to each his own, however you want to approach your stuff. But I hope these gave you a few ideas to pause and think about where you could improve your courses, where you could improve your selling process. Just a few things that could make it that much better so you don't lose people. Because that was the main thing that a lot of these problems were causing, was that they were losing me. They were like holes in their process that I gave up. And so I wanted to bring those up so that you can make sure you are not losing your prospects along the way, that you can really be helping them and getting those people who are interested Don't put any roadblocks in their way. Make it super simple so that they know what you're doing, what the price is, and that they can get signed up easily for your courses, for your services, and your coaching, and all is nice and smooth in the world. So thanks for listening and giving me a place to rant a little bit about these things that are bothering me. I appreciate you following. I appreciate you subscribing and connecting. And I haven't mentioned it for a while, but I do have this training that you can grab for free. It's a $97 training on, is my course idea any good or not? So I will put that in the show notes. If you haven't gotten it yet, definitely click that link and go sign up for that free training, and it'll help you evaluate your course idea and get a feeling for whether or not you should move forward with it. All right, take care, have an amazing week, and we'll catch you on the next episode.